What is good, everyone? In this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to be extremely charismatic. And this is coming from someone who was a shy, introverted kid just 3 years ago. And I've grown to be really social and outgoing and charismatic. And it came from just a couple different things. A couple different books that I read, as well as real life experience, actually going out, applying those things, being social a lot of the time, doing cold approaches, testing and trying things out, as well as having made mistakes later on down the road after having learned some of these things and having to recalculate and recalibrate myself coming back to some of those charismatic things. So I 100% know that everything I'm telling you in this video is going to work and it is going to change your life. So let's go into it. What is the most important things? Well, you got to realize that charisma begins in the mind. Everything is generated from the mind. So you need to be in a charismatic mental state. And what is going to allow you to get into that charismatic mental state? It's going to be positivity, gratitude, and optimism. Those are going to be the three biggest things that you can apply. So the easiest way to get positive is by being grateful. You have so many things that you can be grateful for, no matter what your situation is. So one trick that I would really recommend using is going to be a negative visualization practice. This is a stoic thing where you think about something that you could have lost. Like, for example, your eyesight. You close your eyes and you're like, imagine for the rest of my life I was blind and I couldn't see. And then you open your eyes and you're like, oh my God, life has been so amazing. I couldn't imagine having that. I'm so grateful that I have my vision. And you can do this for thing after thing. And before you know it, you realize you're more abundant than ever. You have so many things to be grateful for. So anytime you feel yourself slipping into that negative mindset, just having kind of a negative viewpoint on things, I would recommend really throwing that in there, just taking a couple minutes, stepping aside, sitting down, doing that kind of negative visualization, and getting grateful again. You can also journal this, as well as implementing daily gratitude journaling, just writing 3 to 5 things you're grateful for, either in the morning or the night. This is going to be a game changer, just really implementing it day after day, always thinking of some things that you're grateful for. So that's going to allow you to get positive, and being positive and happy is the start of charisma. No one wants to be around someone who is all down and negative and boring. No one wants to be around that person. So first you need to be in a state where people want to be around you by being happy, positive, and just expressing your gratitude. That's going to be huge. The next thing is you have to realize the actual interactions that you do have. So there's going to be 3 main things that display charisma once you have that interaction. The first one's going to be presence, the second one is going to be warmth, and the third one's going to be power. So I'm going to start with the third one just because I want to explain that one. A lot of people probably are not going to understand it. So say you're this positive, happy person, but you live in your mom's basement, you're fat, overweight, and you're only happy because you're drunk and you're just not really, you have nothing going for you, you're just kind of not really doing much with your life. You're not going to have a major impact on that person. So a lot of charisma comes down to actually having accomplishments and accolades behind yourself, doing all that personal work and developing your mind, developing your body, your business, your lifestyle. All these things are going to have a huge impact on how charismatic you're going to be. A lot of how much your charisma comes across is your ability to affect that other person's life in a positive way. So if you're someone who has nothing going for you, there's not much you can do to positively impact that person's life. And now it takes us into those next 2 things, which is going to be presence and warmth. So now that you are someone who can actually impact this person's life because you've been putting in all that work where no one's seeing it, you're building your business, you're developing your mind, your body, you're someone that people want to be around, you're happy and positive. Now, when you come to these interactions, you come with complete presence. So you're focusing on everything that person's saying. You're seeking first to understand and then be understood. You let them interrupt you. You don't really care to try and express your viewpoint, more just hear theirs and really show that, empathy and compassion for the things. That's going to be that warmth aspect. So if you're always present, you're listening exactly to what they're saying, and then you're showing compassion and empathy to the things, that, maybe the struggles they're having and things like that. This is going to make you extremely charismatic because you're not only someone of value, but now you're also someone of value listening to this person's, problems or their life or their stories. And this is going to make you extremely interesting to this person, even though you're not saying that much. So you really want to keep the spotlight on them and show how interested you are in them. It really doesn't take much to be charismatic and actually have a huge impact, but you have to be doing that work on yourself, and you have to have the awareness to be present, listen to what they're saying, actually mirror back some of the things that they've told you and show that you understand them, and then also show that empathy and compassion to maybe some of like the things that they're struggling with or the hard times they've had, and really relate to them on that level. If you do just these basic things, you are going to have a massive impact, and it's really not that difficult, right? So we just broke it down once again. Being positive and grateful, that's just something you have to do. Charisma begins in the mind. And then in the interactions that you have, you're really allowing this person to talk about themselves as much as possible, being very present and warm with them, and also just being someone of value. And this is all the work that you have to put in on the back end, where no one's really going to see these things, but they are going to be seen. So yeah, let me tell you about a recent mistake that I made once I started having success in my business. So I first developed charisma about 3 years ago, and I really didn't have too much going for me besides the fact that I was developing my mind to an extreme level. So I really had an amazing mindset, and then I also had a good body, and I had a couple things going for me, but I was nowhere near where I'm at now. So for me, I really understood these things, and I took it to the extreme level where I was just always focusing on that person. But after a couple years now, I've accumulated quite a bit of accomplishments. I've created a successful business, done some 10, 15K months in just 3 months of starting that business within that time. So I was having some big success, and it's only natural to want to express some of the things that you've done. And I kind of forgot about those charisma traits that I had developed so long ago that worked so well for me. And especially when I would drink, I would start talking about all my accomplishments. And I quickly realized that this was not going well for me, that people really didn't care, that it was kind of known that you're having success. There's a couple little things that people pick up on. You really don't need to say it unless people directly ask. Saying that you have an online business is more than enough. You don't have to go into the details on what you're making and all these things. And I'm really lucky to have a truly great friend who can, he'll tell me it how it is. He'll put me in my place when I get out of hand, and he's not afraid to say, look, bro, you're fucking up. You shouldn't be saying these things. You're extremely smart with so many things like this and in business and that, and you're so smart, but you're doing some dumb shit right now, and you're falling off that area what's allowed you to actually get to where you are now. So you need to get back on track to some of those things. So I'm extremely grateful to have a friend like that who can help guide me and steer me in the right direction when I'm falling off. But that was actually a mistake I made recently, and I can 100% tell you that it killed my charisma. Talking about yourself, talking about your accomplishments, it never comes across in a great way, especially in these in-person interactions. You may have seen, Tate, who boasts on the internet, and you can almost want to do the same thing, and you're not on the internet now, right? So it's like the only place to do that is in person, but it's just going to come across the wrong way. No one's going to see you as charismatic. It's really going to take away from your charisma. If anything, it's not going to help you. Really sticking to those basic principles that we started with. I'm not going to go through them again, but those basic principles that we went through is going to make you extremely charismatic. Forget about all your accomplishments. People are going to notice them. You don't have to rub them in anyone's face. Even just keeping it more mysterious is also going to keep you so much more charismatic, because people are now also interested in you, and you're kind of withholding and making it more fun and interesting that way. So that would be my lesson on also how I fucked up my charisma and how you should avoid doing that. If you do start having some success, this might be something that you run into in a challenge that you face, like I did. But you need to get back onto that path, always staying humble, always trying to use those charismatic traits that you have developed. And it's a lifelong skill, always practicing them, always implementing them. And this is going to make you a people magnet. People are going to be drawn to you. You're going to be extremely charismatic and make tons of friends. And people are going to like you everywhere you go. All right, I hope this video helps you. I'll see you guys in the next one.